SAP ERP also includes self-service procurement. The self-service procurement empowers employees to easily procure needed materials using a web-based shopping cart. This shopping cart enforces compliance with corporate purchasing policies. Thus, by decentralizing procurement, you will reduce overhead burden of purchasing professionals and allow them to focus on managing relationships instead of working exclusively on transaction.
As we learned from the previous slide, in the procurement process, goods receipt is the next step after you have issued PO to the vendor. GR in the SAP system is replicated through the documents. During goods receipt, you need to check various things such as the right material has been delivered or not, whether the right quantity has been delivered, or whether there has been over or under delivery, whether perishable goods are within their minimum shelf life. You can enter several GR items against a PO item in one operation. In this demonstration, you're going to learn how to enter a goods receipt for a purchase order in the SAP system. To enter a goods receipt for purchase order in the SAP Easy Access screen, follow the menu path. SAP menu, Logistics, Materials Management, Inventory Management, Goods Movement, Goods Receipt. For purchase order, double-click MIGO _GR -GR for purchase order, MIGO. The goods receipt purchase order demo FI screen opens. Enter the document number and press enter to display the details of the selected transaction. Click the Where tab and see the details of the tab page displayed. Now click Post to post the material document. Return to the previous screen. Here select Display from the drop-down list of goods receipt. Click Execute to view the chosen material document. Now return to the SAP Easy Access screen by selecting Back. Invoice verification is the final step of procurement process. During invoice verification, invoices and credit memos are entered and the contents and prices are checked for accuracy. Note that payment and evaluation of invoices is not involved in this process. The actual payment is handled by the accounting department. Look at the slide to understand the invoice verification process. After you have received material against purchase order and posted a goods receipt in SAP system, you need to enter invoice to conclude the process. You can post invoice in SAP by calling the transaction MIRO. The system generates an invoice document and an accounting document. The material document contains material number, quantity, blocking reason, and amount reference. The accounting document contains the general ledger accounting, which is affected by the postings such as vendor account, input tax account, and GR or IR clearing account. In this demonstration, you're going to learn how to enter an invoice in the SAP system. In the SAP Easy Access screen, follow the menu path. SAP menu, Logistics, Materials Management, Logistics Invoice Verification, Document Entry. Double-click MIRO, enter invoice. For the next screen that opens, In the Basic Data tab page, fill a date for invoice date. Type in the reference number, amount, and tax amount. From the tax amount drop-down list, choose the relevant tax applicable for the transaction. Note, the tax code appears as a default value, customizing setting. Observe that the balance amount is 0 in the balance field. Next, for the Purchase Order Reference tab page, type a purchase order number and press Enter to view the details of the purchase order. You can note the vendor details and the balance amount displayed on the screen. Choose Save to save the invoice. Make a note of the invoice number for future reference.
All purchasing documents can be issued as a message. The messages can be issued via print, fax, electronic data interchange (EDI), or by email. Each time you create a request for quotation document, purchase order, contract, or a schedule agreement, the system creates a message from the affected document. This message is placed in the message queue. The message queue contains all messages that have not been transferred to the vendor. From the message queue, you have the option to issue the messages immediately or later. In this demonstration, you are going to learn how to display the purchase order in the SAP system. To display the purchase order in the SAP Easy Access screen, follow the menu path. SAP menu, Logistics, Materials Management, Purchasing, Purchase Order. Double-click ME23N Display. In the screen that is displayed now, from the main menu, choose Go to. Messages. The Display Purchase Order output screen appears. The table displays the purchase order number and the output details. Choose Back to return to the previous screen. Again, select Go to Print Preview from the menu bar. View the purchase order in the Print Preview screen that opens next. Choose Back to return to the first screen.
This lesson is now complete. We have discussed various procurement processes in SAP. We also explained how SAP supports the key procurement processes.
This lesson gives an overview of SAP Supplier Relationship Management process. We will also explain how Supplier Relationship Management application integrates with other systems.
As we have learned in the first lesson, the SAP Supplier Relationship Management application, SAP SRM, provides strategic value through sustainable cost savings, contract compliance, and instant assessment. With SAP SRM, your company is equipped with tools to drive superior results through end-to-end source-to-pay process. From strategy to execution, SAP SRM covers the full supply cycle. It streamlines procurement and sourcing processes, maintains supply quality, and increases profits, supplier collaboration, and innovation. It has increased supply chain visibility and automates processes that connect the entire supply base. This feature helps you monitor global expenditure closely and discover new abilities to cut the cost of purchased goods and company-wide services.
Procurement and sourcing are the two main components of SRM. In this slide, we will learn the process involved in the strategic procurement and sourcing cycle. SRM helps in efficient handling of procurement and sourcing, which in turn helps in the ultimate profitability and helps improve the supplier base with the company. The typical procurement procedure includes determination of the requirement, source determination, order creation, release of the purchase order, monitoring the status, goods receipt, and invoice verification. On the other hand, the sourcing cycle includes negotiating beneficial condition with the supplier, strategic planning and analysis to find a qualified source, analyzing the contract, evaluate the supplier performance, and once all these processes are done, you offer the contract to the supplier. Strategic purchasing and sourcing is the process of developing a sound supply strategy and executing it by finding qualified sources to fulfill the supply needs, negotiate purchase agreements, manage contracts, and evaluate supplier performance. Capabilities of strategic purchasing and sourcing include supply strategy development, spend analysis, supplier selection, contract management, and catalog management. The overall scorecard feature helps you figure out who was the best vendor from a delivery perspective, who was the best vendor from a price perspective, and who had the most on-time delivery.
Operational procurement is the process of buying direct materials and services, those used in production, or indirect materials and services, those used for maintenance, repair, and operations. Capabilities include self-service procurement, plan-driven procurement, and services procurement. Let us take an example given in this slide. The procurement requirements are generated from various components of ERP, such as SEM, SRM, and so on. Once the requirements are generated, all the suppliers are invited to take part in a bid through the bidding engine. Once this process is over, the assignment of sources is done through the price comparison. Next, information is transmitted to the suppliers through fax, PDF, XML, and so on. After the information is passed, the suppliers give their confirmation for the supply of material. Further, an invoice will be received after the supply of materials or services. Once the invoice is posted, the financial accounting is updated for payments.
SAP Supplier Collaboration connects to a number of processes of the supplier relationship life cycle in a cost-effective way. Using a web browser, suppliers can gain access to a supplier portal that serves as a centralized hub for all the related activities. The illustration focuses on how the collaboration takes place between the supplier and a buyer. Here, the supplier and the buyer are connected through a web browser. The buyer portal receives the requirements from PLM, SEM, and so on, which is connected through NetWeaver. The supplier and the buyer then are accessed via a web browser, which provides a clear picture regarding the requirement.
Both professional buyers and standard users work in SAP SRM through a web browser. Purchase orders created in this way are then posted in the ERP backend for follow-up processes such as goods receipt or invoice verification, and the data become available for material planning and availability checks. The slide shows that an ECC system is integrated with the SRM system for optimized procurement process. You order something through the internet and put it in your shopping cart. Now this goes back to ECC and creates a purchase requisition. Further, you will confirm your shopping cart and then possibly invoice it. So, it is possible for you to actually buy something, give your confirmation, and also get your invoice all at once in the supply relationship management with interfaces going back and forth over to ECC if needed.
Main components in SAP SRM are SAP ECC and SAP SRM. In a complete logistics value chain, procurement through SAP SRM is a highly integrated process. Requirements for materials that are to be externally procured can be created through planning processes in SAP SCM or through actual sales processes. Once the actual purchasing process is computerized, the purchasing department can focus on strategic and quality improving tasks.